I was at a conference in Chicago a few years back for young people who wanted to learn how to make a living in the arts. They were all college age or just getting out of college. So there I was, and I was at a round table all about blogging, how to blog. I was the blogging expert at this conference. And so I was sitting there with these people. Again, they're all in their early 20s, going around talking about what they want to write about. And this one fellow at the end of the table, he said, I've got a blog, and it's all about, he was kind of delighted to tell me, all about being a queer artist in Wisconsin. And as he said this, something occurred to me that hadn't occurred to me specifically before. And I said to him, well, look, that's pretty good. You know, being a queer artist, as you say, uh, in Wisconsin, uh, okay, Wisconsin is probably a little on the conservative side, Midwestern. I don't know. I've never actually been there, so I don't know. But that's the implication I get in queer artist. Okay, you're a little more out of the mainstream. So that contrast between what you are and the environment, that can be the source of some material. However, I said to him, I can guarantee you, even though there aren't as many queer artists in Wisconsin as there are, say, in Seattle or San Francisco, there's definitely more than one. There's definitely more than one. However, there is only one you, not just in Wisconsin, but in the entire world. And so, if you really want to get some juice, fine, write about being an artist. You can write about being queer, but also write about being you, because that's the most unique thing about you. That is by far the most unique thing about you. And it struck me how important that was at that time. You know, in his case, he, I suspect, wanted to find his uniqueness. And he was doing something that I think a lot of people do, well, not a lot of, but a certain number of people do, which is leaning on his identity, what we call identity, to find that uniqueness. And that's okay to a point. But the true uniqueness resides within the individuality that you can't escape. And I'll tell you, I think it's challenging for us to deal with as human beings and certainly as artists. You know, it struck me once, I was thinking about voice and having a unique voice. And the one advantage to being imitative of other people's voices, whether it's your speaking voice, your singing voice, or your writing voice, is that if you are sort of imitative, you've heard it before. And if you've heard it before, the thing you're saying feels familiar to you. But if you're truly unique in your voice, you're never going to have heard it before. And so, how do you know if it's right? How do you know if it's good? But if you're imitating someone, you can fool yourself into believing it's good because it sounds like these people that you like. At some level, as artists, as people, we have to trust our uniqueness, the ineluctable uniqueness. You can't, no one's ever lived what you've lived and seen what you've seen and heard what you've heard and kissed who you've kissed. It's never happened before and you'll never happen again. That's the truth. And for some of us, maybe we've been raised in communities where we didn't want to stick out. We wanted to try to fit in. But you can try, but you're still going to be you. And the interesting thing about being unique is that, which we all are, whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, is that the best way to fit in, I have found, oddly, is to just be me as authentically as possible. Because there is something about trying to be something you're not that feels inauthentic and is because if you're trying to be something you're not, even in the smallest way, you have rejected yourself. Yes, you have. And as soon as you start rejecting yourself, others, believe it or not, will reject you in some small way. They have to. They can't help but to. They always reflect back what you are. And certainly in your writing, if you try not to be you in your story, if you tell the story in a way that is not absolutely authentic to you, if you reject yourself as you write the story, the publishing world will reject you. So you want to be accepted, you want to be a part of the group, whatever that is, be yourself, be unique, accept yourself, and the others will have to accept you. Yes, they will. It's another good reason to write teaches you how to be a human being. Yes, it does. So, if you like this, hit subscribe so you don't miss a dose. And if you like it, say so. I always want to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. stay fearless.